What is your golden tip for buying a car? Have the price you are willing to pay in mind before you talk to a salesperson. And stick to it. Be ready to walk. It's not an empty threat. Just walk. There's a million other cars out there. Don't get attached to anyone. Do your research on the models you are interested in and always keep $2,000-3,000 away for repairs. Check the paint on screws in the engine bay and if all services were made. Always listen to your gut feeling. If something seems even a little off, walk away. Cars are depreciating assets. Avoid going into debt for an asset that depreciates in value over time. The $300-600 per month that can be put towards a car would be better spent towards your home mortgage and appreciating asset. Kick the tires to show you are a serious buyer. I paid $40 up front for my lightly used and fairly new car from CarMax and paid the rest off on a bank loan with 2 interest rather than the 8 CM wanted to charge me, and now my monthly payment is just over $200. Never go to the dealer alone. If it's between keeping a running clunker or buying new, keep the clunker. Drive it into the ground. Buy it used and reliable. Visit several dealers. Some are straight slime and others much less so. Feel comfortable with your salesperson. Lastly, do not pay for dealer add-on shit. If you have time on your side, only visit on the last few days of the month. This is usually when they have to hit sales targets, and if they are short then you can absolutely catch an amazing deal. Also, have a plan to walk away. Too many people get caught in the trap of needing to buy right now or else you'll miss the deal. There's always a new deal to be made. Source used to sell cars. Never buy a used car at night from private sellers, it never ends well. Low monthly payments. Live within your means. Buy Toyota. If it's got undercoat, then it's broke. Own Rock 1012. Go on the last day at the month after 3 p.m. The salesperson is trying to hit their numbers and will be more willing to shave a couple thousand off the desired car. My partner bought a car the afternoon before a major sports final. She was willing to hang around for as long as it would take and the salesman caved rather than missing the game. Calculate monthly costs and ROI before you buy. First, buy a car only if you need it. Never fall in love. At the end of the day it's just a car. There will be another one. This is often how people get screwed. Be prepared to walk away at any moment. Grab a meal before a transaction. You'll thank me later. Used? PDI. Buy a Toyota. 1. Never buy a car that you cannot pay for in cash. Taking out a loan for a bloody automobile is just insane. 2. Always do your research and decide on what model you want before going to a car dealer or looking at private adverts. 3. No touchscreens. Being alive is more important than being trendy. 2 words Consumer Reports. Buy Toyota, Honda, lease the rest. It's good to have a friend who talks car and understand them with you. Run it up 100 for a mile or more. Its faults will show. Radiator oil smells, front end engine knocking, etc. None of this show parked or going slow. Take somebody with you who ain't have to ask credit. Get a Bugatti, dollar bills face. Use Toyota, Honda, Hyundai. Reliable and there's no risk of falling in love with those cars. If at all possible, don't. Cars are a goddamn money sink, between the initial purchase price, maintenance, fuel, insurance, and parking fees. So consider what will benefit you more in the long run, having an extra few $100s a month, and being able to do things at will without having to think hard about being able to afford it? Or being able to go at will without having to pay for taxis or Uber or whatever, and not scheduling around public transit? End communication. Buy it used SMH. Golden tip? Don't. Shit's expensive. Never buy a depreciating asset. If it drives, flies, floats or lease it. Don't. If you don't know what you're doing, go for the reliable ones. For me, when I bought my last car, the reasons were that 99.99% of the time it was only me in the car. I didn't need a car for work tools and I never tow anything. So I upgraded by downsizing. I got a Suzuki Celerio. I always try to get a second opinion from someone I trust and knows cars better than I do. I'm not gonna pretend I know all my SHD just to save face and then get a bad deal. But OFC, I need to adequately prep my own knowledge. I always research multiple sellers and compare their qualities prices when I'm seriously looking to buy. Ask yourself, in 2 years can you afford anything that is going to happen, and if you will still like the vehicle. Don't let your yearnings get ahead of your earnings. Use the phrase "I'll walk away" a lot. Go with someone who repairs cars, he could save you a lot of money. Don't take on a payment you can't handle each month for the next 5 years. It's not the end of the world if you go for that Corolla instead of the big SUV everyone wants. You'll be kicking yourself for years if you take on a large payment that you have trouble fitting into the budget. Vehicles are for transportation, not for showing off how much money you have unless you do indeed have a lot of money. Buy used. Even if you want a new car, you can still find the same exact car only a year old. Only difference is that you're paying less. If you buy from a dealer, don't buy any extended or special warranty. 99% of the time it's gonna be a waste of money. Buy a used model max 3 years old. Don't buy expensive cars, they are not worth it. Max 150 km, do an extensive mechanical inspection on it. Just walk away if you don't get what you want. There are plenty of cars out there to be had. Moroccan Oil Fragrance Spray. Never buy a car when it's rained, or just been washed. They always look better. Couple of things I always check. Exhaust front and back. Oil cap underneath. Any cracks, lid service history, particularly cam belt, clutch, transmission. If the dealer puts the radio on the test drive, turn it off and listen. Full lock turns for creaking, suspension feel. Gear changes. Then I buy it and the starter motor or fuel pump goes. Sweet. Reverend it up and check the exhaust color. Always plain new so you'll get that real new car smell. Miles not age if second hand. 1. Get a friend or someone who is well aware of cars and how to buy one in case you yourself is not good at finding issues. 2. If you have a friend, someone you know who is about to sell his car and you know he's a good driver and cares for his car, buy his car. 3. Get a paint thickness check tool and use it everywhere on the body of a cat. 4. Lot on the ground and look under the car. If there's traces of rust or oil puddles, find another car. Shop for a loan before shopping for a car. Buy a demonstration car instead of a brand new one. The vehicle is for all intents and purposes like new except having a little bit of mileage, something like 2000, 3000 miles maybe, but it costs like 25 less. Buy a wagon, not a sedan. Disregarding aesthetics, they're mostly the same, you just get a lot more stuff into the former than the latter. Ask yourself whether you need the fancy and built stuff that costs a lot of money like, say, an onboard sat-nav if your smartphone does the trick. Jam my knob in the exhaust pipe, if it fits, it ships. Know what is the issue? Old Holden's rear main seals 1990-2004. Have a mate as a mechanic to give you the issues. Get the car inspected by a trusted mechanic before you buy. If used. Buy with your mind, not your heart. Test drive and proper inspection. 1. Get a price online. If they don't give you one, don't bother with them. 2. Try to finance it yourself with a bank, it avoids the scummy finance guy that all dealerships seem to have. Don't wait until you need a car to buy a car. You can find a better deal when you have the luxury of time to shop around. Never buy new. That shiny new car with the lovely new smell will lose its appeal in a year or two, but the payment will stay the same for years to come. Say you'll trade it when that happens? They'll give you peanuts for it and before long you're trapped in an endless debt cycle. If you are buying a new car, buy it in February. Dealers are most motivated to sell in that month. Also buy it on the last day of the month. Never buy new unless you can afford to pay cash in the full amount. Last time we bought a new car was 2007. Since then we've been buying low-mileage 2-year-old cars. The amount you will save in interest and depreciation will amaze you. Everyone knows someone. Don't be afraid to ask that friend of yours who's a mechanic, even if they're not the greatest at their job. Some insight is better than none, and I've found that more often than not, people are willing to help if you just ask. Used and from the owner. Avoid dealers at all costs. Buy used, and actually buy it. Don't lease. Let someone else eat the depreciation, and buy the vehicle. You'll be surprised how much monthly cash flow you free up by avoiding lease deals, and getting trapped in endless payments. Pay cash, drive it into the ground, repeat. Don't forget to kick the tires while inspecting. If it's just for going to work, lease. If you drive a lot, buy new and drive it till it dies on the side of the road. Remember, a car isn't an asset, it's a liability. I personally would just go used and get something cheap that'll last a few years but gets me to my destination. Buy non-electric in great condition. Don't take out a loan to buy one. Take a good test drive, try to get a highway run-in. Buying is a one-time cost, insurance and maintenance costs are a bitch.